All right, guys, welcome to another episode number 2, Claudios Perspective. We're over here on the road to PMP, guys. On the road to PMP. We're back on Wall Street again, guys. The daily, the usual. So, guys, project management, that's what we're going to get to today. So I need you guys to figure out exactly what prioritization. Got a couple messages about people telling me, hey, Claudio, how do I prioritize? How is it? I keep getting overwhelmed. I keep thinking about too many things, and I don't know where to start, where to begin. Let me tell you something. I'm going to get into that right now. But what you need to understand is it's going to be one of the principles that you have to base most of your life, most of your decisions on, prioritization. That and planning, taking notes, having a calendar, all of that is crucial stuff. So now, why is the PMP so important? Well, let me tell you something. I've been a PMP for the past couple years, and listen, PMP is just a certification. It's just a piece of paper that actually proves that you know how to manage a project and you know every other aspect of project management. Just a piece of paper. Just like you can be well educated in a certain subject or a certain trade or a certain something, but certain companies need to see that paper in order for you to actually get the recognition and get that salary boost. So go get that PMP and study for it. Anyways, so we're working on that. I've been doing project management in healthcare. Now I'm doing project management on big capital projects in the city, in the state. So listen, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be your number one resource for project management. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go and tackle any aspect of project management that you guys might not understand or that you might have issues understanding. Another thing about project management, it's a very, very beneficial tool. It's a very, very beneficial mindset to understand and to take on. The reason being is because once you understand how to manage a project and once you understand how to compose or how to create a project scope, project plan, a project estimates and all that, once you understand how to tackle those, the rest becomes easy. The main idea behind project management is people management. Once you understand how to manage people, it all becomes easier. The reason being, most people don't have emotional intelligence, most people aren't good leaders, and most people cannot see the bigger picture or look outside of their perspective. So what we want you to do is brainstorm with your team and come up with better solutions in order to have a successful outcome. One of the things I'm going to cover now that we covered in my first episode, which was priorities. Listen, project management is all about prioritization. You have to prioritize what's important, what needs to be done, how, what time, and how much. And it needs to be done within that scope, or else we're going to have issues. You know what I mean? We're going to have budget creep. We're going to be, extending when the milestones are going to be met, all of that. So you need to understand prioritization. And like I said, I'm working on my CHST. I'm also working on my PMP. I'm also considering graduate school. PMP, CHST, grad school. Three different things. Not in the same realm, so to speak, but there are three different things that I need to prioritize. So I had to figure out what is the easiest, what is the quickest, what is the most important. So there's a deadline right now, graduate school. Deadlines are coming up right now. So I have to focus on that right now. PMP, I'm gonna take that in December and January, so I still have a couple months for that. So so graduate school has to come into place now. So I need to figure out exactly how that's gonna work, and we're gonna figure out, and we're gonna go through all the graduate schools that we're contemplating and all of that. So it's either gonna be an MPH, MBA, or MBA/JD, or MPH/JD. Or, hey, we might even just do the MPH or MBA first and then focus on the JD later on. Because as I said, prioritization, that's what you have to focus on. Next step. After that, we're gonna work on the PMP and CHST. So what's more important? I think the CHST is a little more important than the PMP, mainly because it's gonna give me a competitive advantage. So I'm gonna work on my CHST, while on other days off, I'm gonna be working on the PMP as well. So it's gonna be a little bit of study for the CHST, study for the PMP here. Don't overwhelm yourself. Take a break. You gotta, you know what I mean? You can't overwhelm yourself. 30 minutes, 40 minutes of studying, then take a 20, 30-minute break. You're never gonna absorb all the information in one sitting. So grab a notebook, get a calendar, get a whiteboard, put it on the board, erase it, check it off. Because the beneficial part about checking it off is if you have it on board, then you see it every day. It's right in your face. As opposed to when you don't write it down, when you don't put it on the board, People often say, oh man, I forgot. Oh man, that slipped my mind. Oh man, I didn't put it on my calendar. So why didn't you put it in your calendar? It takes 10 seconds, 30 seconds to put it in your calendar. What happened? You know what I mean? And then so things get delayed, people lose track of things. So you're not gonna have a good project management plan, life plan, you know what I mean? So everything is a project. Consider like almost every aspect of your life a project. I gotta get to school. How are we gonna tackle that? I gotta get this. How are we gonna tackle that? Let's prioritize. Let's plan it ahead. Let's plan in advance. Prioritization is the word of the day, guys. All right. Prioritization, project management. Remember that. Always prioritize everything that you're doing in any task, any project. And that's how you're gonna get it completed in an orderly and accurate time. So this is episode 2 of Claudios Perspective. We're tackling the key word of prioritization. I've heard people have been messaging me, hey Claudio, but how do I prioritize? What do I prioritize? And then they become overwhelmed and start overthinking about everything. You got to make a list. You got to start writing things down. If you guys aren't putting pen to paper, if you aren't putting marker to whiteboard in your wall, then you're not going to succeed. You're planning to fail. Again, if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. All right. So listen, lock in. That's all I got to tell you. Because if you're not doing anything that I told you before, then you're already failing. Because it's like, if you don't want to take guidance, then what's going to happen? Guys, follow, like, share. We're gonna be providing you guys with more beneficial information that's gonna help you guys out. And until then, just keep following, just keep studying, just keep doing whatever I'm telling you guys to do. It's all in your benefit. Aside from prioritization, what's one of the key things that you should always keep in mind? Another key thing is just, what ties into that is just mental health. Because once you're overwhelmed, you start getting anxious, you start getting stressed. So what you guys need to do when you guys feel like that is take a breather, take 2 deep breaths. Like, it's a hack. It's a Navy SEAL hack where you're able to calm down if you were ever feeling stressed or overstimulated or anxious and whatnot. What I can suggest is what actually helped me when I was going through that. So there was a point, as I mentioned in my prior video, where I didn't have any motivation, I lacked the perspective, and I was like, for what? This isn't working. So one of the things is go out on YouTube and everything, or find mentors, find somebody that can, somebody that can explain it to you a little bit better. And if you can't, hey, YouTube, TikTok, everything. There's so much information. There's so much informational resources that you can get and use to succeed that I didn't have when I was growing up, that you guys have now and that can take to your advantage. Even ChatGPT, you can use ChatGPT now just to succeed and become better and help you in any situation, even at work, So seek out motivational speakers on YouTube. Seek out people that are smarter than you, that can mentor you, that can guide you. Listen, you're never going to be the smartest person that in anything until you start going and you start actually understanding the concept of anything. You have to start off. Listen, when I started project management, when I started managing, when I started in the healthcare industry, which was like an alien environment for me, I didn't know anything until you start getting the hang of the stuff and reaching out to directors, reaching out to COOs, people that are in positions that you want to be in. What really helped me when I was going through that kind of phase where I was I couldn't prioritize, I couldn't really figure out exactly where to start. Listen, I found this I came across this thing on the internet called, I think it was the Law of Attraction or something like that, and it was a book that was also included with it. I think it was called The Law or something like that, or The Key to Happiness, something like that, and it had some ancient key on it. And I remember when I first discovered that, I was like, yo, this thing will not work, bro. What do you mean the key of the law? Attract, bro, what are you gonna do? And it made no sense, and I just I just disregarded it and I just threw it out. Years down the line, when I'm actually needing that kind of motivation and trying to understand exactly how to attract and how the world works, I come across it again and I'm like, hey, let me give it a try. Let me see what it's about. And that changed my fucking life forever. You know what I mean? Because that's when it actually clicked. I'm like, wait a second. Everything is connected. There is a pattern to everything. There is a certain science behind it. So I kept trying it. I was always, like I said, I was always just hoping that things would change and oh man, I know some good person's gonna come up to me and give me $5 grand, $10 grand, and then I'm gonna use that to invest and become a millionaire. Easy. Never happened. I was broke for a good minute. and so that didn't work. So like I said, what do you do when things don't work? You don't do insanity, doing the same thing expecting a different result. What you do is you go and you try new approaches. So I went back to the drawing board, bought a notebook, bought a whiteboard, started listening, and actually not just listening, hearing to listen, hearing to comprehend and actually understand exactly what they meant by the law of attraction and how it works. And once it got down to it, I was like, yo, what are you talking about? This all makes sense. And it was all clicking, and so you put that mindset together, you put everything else, you put the motivational videos, you put the mentor, what your mentor are telling you, and you take all that negativity that you're thinking, that you're used to, and you change that for only positivity. So all you do is, something bad happens to you. So what are you gonna do? What is your first reaction? You're not gonna be like, it always, oh man, hey, what else? That always happens to me. Bad shit always happens. No, you say, hey, where's the silver lining in this? How can I see the positivity in this bad act or in this negative thing? You know what I mean? Be it at work or be it like in real life. You know what I mean? You gotta look at the positive. Like everything happens for a reason. That cliche saying is true because it does. Hasn't there ever been a time where you've been like, yo man, why did this happen? Why? And then something better happens in place of that, or like something, and you're like, wait, if I was doing that, then this wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? And so like the law of attraction, it was supposed to happen. You attracted it. So I started staying positive, being like, oh, okay. Hey, I didn't get this job, but maybe another one is gonna pop up further down the line. And boom, it did. I was getting offered a pretty decent 6-figure salary job for a contractor position at a different healthcare company as a contractor. So that means I don't get benefits or nothing. A couple months later, 6 months later, I'm like, damn, applying and no cause. Boom, that night, I got a call back. I think it was like 4 or 5 p.m. Hey, Claudio, we submitted for this position. Coming for an interview next week. And I was just thinking it. Hasn't that ever happened where you're just thinking something and then it happens and you're like, and not ads, not targeted ads. That's just Facebook and everybody else spying on you and looking into whatever you're doing. But man, so I attracted that. And so now I'm making more money than I would have been making as a contractor. And now I have benefit. Now I have more opportunity. Now I'm able to get my certifications, my PMP, because I didn't get that other job. I wouldn't have been able to do that with the other job, So it's like, wait out a little bit and suffer for better things, and and stay positive and look at the benefits that could come from that, or stay negative and say, yo, this market sucks, nobody's hiring, I'm gonna go sell drugs, or I'm gonna go, you know what I mean? Do something stupid. But anyway, that's my little rant. I'm about to head home. I just wanted you guys to understand that. I just wanted to it's the second episode, so I just wanted to get you guys going and get the ball rolling so you guys can have something to think upon and something to help you guys already get the ball rolling as well, So I'm gonna sign off. I'm about to head home. I'm gonna check back in with you guys again tomorrow, hopefully, or maybe tonight I'll make another episode. But right now, Road to PMP, episode 2, Claudios Perspective. We will be providing more resources, all right? I'll be providing more resources, more knowledge, more everything for you guys. But look up the law of attraction, the key to happiness, I believe it is. Look up Jim Rohn, look up Alan Watts, look up The Richest Man in Babylon, look up 50 Cent, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, all of that. If you don't like to read, look up ebooks. Stop complaining, start listening, stop soaking in the knowledge, everything. Even while you sleep, put the audiobooks on, you'll be successful either way. All right? So, Claudio signing out. Listen, I want to see good comments and I want to see you guys winning, all right? So, stay tuned, more to come, all right?